Hello everybody. This is Show here, and I just hit 800 subscribers today while I was at work. Now, one thing I will be doing for the 800 subscriber special is I'm going to pause at the end of this video, and I'm going to do a drawing. I will also write down the suggested what if, along with the what if the person who actually guessed my soda correctly actually picked, which was Titanfall. Now, because of that, I am actually trying to script something before something happens. So this is the only part of the video that I'm actually putting on paper because of how much detail I have to put into it. And if you guys are wondering how much, I already have a third of a page covered in just trying to figure this out. And I think I finally got it. So if some of it doesn't make sense, just know in my head it made sense. So anyways, let us begin. After the USJ attack, Deku is actually thinking of a way they opened a portal. And he's actually looking really concerned. Now, the reason he's looking concerned is because everyone doesn't know what the demons were saying, but he does. Now, people are looking at him and he's just sitting there with his arms crossed, trying to think, and he just keeps getting annoyed. Because it doesn't make sense to him. How did they find out about his world outside of... Well, how did they figure out how to get here? Why are they even here? Well, why he knows why, and what did they want from these people? Now, what happened was, when the demons arrived, they were actually spouting off orders to each other. Basically, they need to get these people from 1A. Because, essentially, they would be useful to them for their invasion. And what do I mean by invasion? Well, they are looking for people who embody different sins. And they actually got some blood before heading out. Because only at this point the flying demons or the little imps survived after Deku's massive onslaught. Now, I want to say the little demons, they would have actually gotten away with some blood, but that is going to be a bit different. Now, this is actually very, very, very stressful to try and figure out in my head. Okay. Deku is actually explaining to everyone that they have a new problem other than the fact that they just got attacked. Not only are there illegal villains after us, but we also have some people from hell trying to come after us. In fact, they wanted a lot of different people specifically. He's not sure why, but they also wanted Moneta, so that means the demons have been looking at us and spying on us since before then. If not spying on me. Which is not good. As he would immediately look over to Apara and Bakugo. As he does this, Bakugo thinks he already knows what that look is about, as he would actually take the lead, saying then that means if they were spying on us, we have targets on our back. But we're not really sure what you mean, man. You have to explain it better. I did not really want to do this, but it seems like I have to. Mr. Aizawa, how much time do we have before the sports festival again? Kid, I just explained it. Weren't you listening? No. 2 weeks. Okay, good. Not what I meant. Okay. So, I got this figured out. I just need you guys' help. Along with one other person. Moneta! As Moneta would immediately come bursting into the room asking what happened, or why someone's screaming for him. Deku would immediately tell Moneta that he's gonna need some blood. In fact, he's gonna need some blood from everyone. As Deku would essentially ask Momo to create some syringes and some little bottles. actually asking her if she can extract some of her own blood. Now, as this has happened, people are confused as Deku essentially is holding a needle, and he immediately sticks it into his own arm, ejecting some blood, putting it into a bottle. As he does this, he would actually hand a needle to Ibarra, the copy bitch, Mineta, actually asking him to draw blood, Bakugo, Uraka, Momo herself, Kaminari, and Jiro. Now, after that happened, Deku is essentially saying that covers, I think, most of us, but, why do I feel like I'm missing something? There it is. Okay. I think I know what to do. As Deku would actually just say that he'll be right back. Just everyone needs to essentially come by this part of town, which is Deku's dad's lab. As he says this, Baku actually thinks he knows what Deku's thinking, saying that he's crazy then. Now, as soon as that happens, Deku would actually say no, but he's gonna have to make a pit stop before then. Now, Deku actually would go over to where his hero suit is held, go into his locker, and actually pull out his BNG 8742 that he just immediately attaches to his arm after putting on the gauntlet. Now, as he's doing that, he's actually holding his arm out and actually testing to see if it still works or is functioning. People are looking at that and they're actually asking Deku what that thing is. He would just say that he's not really sure, he just knows how it works after looking at a couple of instructions, and this is the thing he used to take down that giant monster he turned into. Which people are confused for a second before they realized, wait, that's right. Deku turned into something the size of a fucking building. What the heck is that thing? As he immediately just walks over to the support course. Now, as soon as he does that, all you would hear is a bunch of people start screaming and shouting at Deku, actually asking him what that thing is. Deku would actually detach it from his arm, slamming it on the table, saying that this is something not out of this world. As they would say it sure is, and Deku would say, no, you don't understand, it's not from this world. What? As May would immediately run forward, zooming in and enhancing, actually reading off some little logos she sees inscribed into the metal. Actually saying that this company essentially doesn't exist, and even then, this tech is far too advanced to just go, or whatever happened to it. But where did he get it? Deku would say he got it from hell. As the rumors people may have been hearing or telling about him are actually true, demons attacked us and we are going back. But first, as Deku would immediately hold up a syringe and a bottle, saying that May is going to need he's going to need some of May's blood. May would ask why she needs to give it to him, and Deku would say that not only does he offer her the chance to study this, but possibly even more technology. As she would immediately snatch the needle from him, saying that fine, but it would take her months to even to decipher what this thing does, let alone other technology. Deku would say lucky her, because where they're going, they have all the time in the world. They are going to go on a field trip to hell. Which she actually perks up, saying, I'm sorry, we're going to hell? Yes. Basically, I have 10 people, including me, if not 11 of us, have been drawing blood. I essentially need it to create a portal. And the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to, as he would give a whole scientific explanation, which would intrigue her more, Deku would just say, essentially, he's going, and if anyone needs him, he'll be there. Everyone would essentially give Deku the blood. May would actually write down a lot of what Deku told her, and Deku would leave the support course with that weapon. Essentially telling them that just don't put it on your arm and do not twist your wrist 82 degrees to the right or 72 to the left, because then it will fire. and destroy everything in front of it. Because he killed something the size of a building with it, which they kind of find even more fascinating. Now, as that's happening, Deku immediately walks back into Class 1A, where everyone would actually hand over the bottles in a box Momo gave him. She would say that this is all, essentially this is everything, and Deku would actually look at Monoma, asking him if he would like to join him. Monoma would just say pass, as he doesn't know about the whole time passing differently in Hell, so he would just say pass. As he would just say that he has better ways of spending his 2 weeks than in somewhere, essentially, that doesn't exist or is made up. He would just call this a delusional fantasy that this guy has, along with Meta saying that he would go, but from all the stuff he's seen on the internet, there's one thing he would be really happy to meet, but would also immediately die to. Now, I'm not saying what that is, but I'm pretty sure most people can figure it out. Deku would just say that he's never seen anything like that in Hell, but he's only been in one region. Now, as soon as that happens, Deku would immediately walk over to Obara, asking her if she's going to be going with them, because they essentially do have her blood, and he would like her permission to use it, because everyone else basically already signed off. Which is whenever she would just say, fine, she'll be going then, but only to keep an eye on them. Because she would look at Bakugo and look back at Deku. Which Deku would be a bit insulted, but saying, you know what? Fair trade. As they would go back to Deku's dad's lab. Now, as soon as they get there, people are trying to stop Deku, but Deku would just walk through, saying that he's essentially going to be doing something that will really intrigue everyone. As he would walk in, his dad would see him walking toward the portal. As soon as Deku does this, Deku would walk into the room, immediately grab the metal that he bent out of place, shape it back as much as he can. You can still see the bends and deformities in it, the warped, but essentially everyone is there. Deku would have asked them if they all packed bags or changed into clothes. They would say yes, and Deku would just quite simply say that if any of you pack snacks, leave them here. As you would immediately hear Kaminari taking out a bag of chips and basically putting them at the edge of the room, along with a couple cases of cola or soda and something else. Now, as soon as that happened, people just watch as he basically left an entire bag on the ground, and Deku just looks at him, saying, you know what? At least bring the cola. At least bring something. As Kaminari would get excited, running back over, grabbing it. Now, Ida would actually run in, saying that this is highly stupid and ridiculous, as Deku would look at him, saying, so what, are you gonna join us? Because Ibarra is already here to supervise, along with me. The only reason I'm here is so no one gets hurt. But I'm still wondering one thing. Why weren't you on the demon's list? What do you mean? Well, how do I put this? You're you. You're strict and you follow by a rule code. The fact that you're not on their list is astounding to me. As Ida would quite simply say that it's probably because he's good and he probably doesn't break all the rules that they do. Deku would quite simply say, no, it's gotta be something else. As he immediately takes out the vials, and Deku's dad's watching this, as Deku starts painting the wall in blood, which kind of confuses everyone. As he basically creates a pentagram and just starts basically coating it with different material. Now, what he's coating it with is actually stuff he got from Hell and actually copied down and memorized in his head. I can't really think of very demonic ingredients, so Basically, attune this to him creating a portal, like a nether portal, from Minecraft. Which is basically it, but more complicated. Now, as soon as he does that, he actually puts his hand out, actually saying a few words as his hands begin glowing, and the portal actually opens up. But as soon as it opens it up, Deku would immediately go to walk through, and he would actually grab Ibarra by the hand as she begins blushing. He would say that no, it's not like that, as he immediately just kind of brings his hand up as she's kind of still kind of flustered. He's saying that essentially, whenever he ran into a scientist that essentially took her own life, she said that her crew went in one after another. Now, what that basically meant was they both went in separate times. Essentially, if we all stayed tethered together, we should all arrive at the same time. As they're going through, Deku's dad would actually stop them, saying that this is ridiculous, he can't be going back. Deku would say he is, but he has one thing. He has one thing to say. This is highly ridiculous, he doesn't condone it, and at the very least, take this. As he would show them one simple thing. A watch he has been creating. Now, as soon as he actually holds this out, Deku sees it. He's asking what this is. Deku's dad would go on stating that this essentially allows him to feel the dimension. In fact, it allows him to feel the bridge. Basically, we are all traveling at a certain wavelength. Imagine it like a radio. We're traveling at a certain wavelength. Where you're going travels at least higher or below. But this portal is in between. Basically, if the wavelength of the portal gets felt, you may be able to come back. Basically, I don't know if this thing's going to close behind you. I'm going to probably do it, but essentially I can open this up in 2 weeks my time here. Now, whenever I do that, that will essentially start beeping, and you need to run when it does. I don't care how fast you run or how essentially much you run. You need to come, because everybody down there might hear it. And not only will I essentially open up the gates again, but everyone will hear the call. Because people already knew, demons in hell already knew about the gates. Those who were at the invasion in the initial time were there to witness everything. Now, Deku would immediately lock hands. Everyone would immediately begin locking hands, and the only two people who are not here are Monoma and Moneta. Now, the reason they are not here is because essentially this is going to be a very long training montage, along with a bit more fan service. But let us begin. Everyone walks through and they all have their arms cupped together. And as soon as everyone gets through, the portal closes. And Deku's watch, which was beeping as soon as they got in, actually stops. He would say that that's a good sign, and it should be working. Everyone begins dropping to their knees and actually falling as Deku's looking at them. As he turns around, seeing that they're exactly where he thought they were. As he actually walks over to the skeleton of the thing he first killed, along with to where the concrete was. Actually brushing his hand over the area, actually remembering it. People are seeing Deku do this, which kind of can make them concerned, as they would ask Deku if he's okay. He would say that he's fine, it's just nostalgia. I haven't been here in 80 years. It's weird. Not just that, I've been able to eat and sleep for the last couple months. By the way, I hope you guys enjoyed that. We are not going to be able to do that anytime soon. Which they would all immediately say, what does he mean? Deku would say, you know how I said I didn't have to eat, sleep, or drink food? Yeah, you guys are gonna need, you're gonna need some time to that. Now, anyways. Alright, let's see. Well, the town is that way. Okay. Deku would immediately pull out from his bag the imp and the soul. He would immediately tie it around his neck, actually tapping on the jar, which surprises everyone, as the imp immediately begins screaming and shouting at Deku for essentially waking it from its nap. Deku would immediately hold up a bag of jelly beans, which the imp immediately starts jumping with joy at, as he tells him that they need a safe place and that they need to go now. In fact, they need to go back to that one place. You know the one? Smells of fire. Smelled of fire and death, along with dust. Now, the imp would actually point in the other direction Deku and his gang are in. Now, Deku would immediately say that, essentially, everyone starts stretching because the training begins now. The King of Hell, or Lucifer, he wants all of our heads. So, we're going to give him a challenge. He only lives in one part of Hell. Essentially, a place so far below Hell, basically he lives underneath Hell itself. He essentially lives in an area where he's surrounded by a pit of lava, a lake of fire, and has his own country to rule over. This is the Devil's Palace. Now, Deku would immediately somewhat take off into a jog as everyone essentially falls in behind him. Deku would immediately pick up the pace, and everyone's actually doing so, as Mei is having trouble since she always just relies on her equipment, which Deku would always see as she would begin trying to turn on her hover gear. Deku would just tell her not to, that stuff's gonna melt here. Which she would just say, then what's the point of her being here? Her gear is useless. Deku would say no. He's taking them to a place that, essentially, he has not seen anyone populate his whole time here. In fact, it's the one place he stayed hidden. He was there for about 10 years before he finally left. Now, I'm going to be leaving this part off of here, guys. This was somewhat of a filler episode, along with bringing Deku back to Hell. That's fun. That's always fun. Now, this essentially is my way to counter Deku being OP to the rest of the class. Let us begin. Alright, wait. Okay, I thought I legit had that pause. I'm so glad it wasn't. Okay, let us continue this in the next part, because I need to look up something, and I'm not gonna lie, if someone immediately guesses it, it's gonna be really cool. I also need to do the drawing real quick. Hang on. Okay. Anyways, sorry about that, guys. I just got done drawing from the cup and everything, but apparently I was not recording. Yay, I love still being an amateur at this. Anyways. That probably sounds really weird for people hearing that, considering I don't know how many subscribers I'm at while they're watching this, but I'm actually at 800 right now. So, for those of you who are confused about that, I've only been doing YouTube for not even 3 months. And I'm already at 800. I'm almost at 1,000. That's still mind-blowing. Now, the what if I picked is villain. And I actually did have a story for villain, in case I ever did pick it, but I did not write it down on the paper. In fact, I would like to leave that up to you guys. You guys have seen me do 10 quirks, But one thing people did not know was I actually intended... Okay, what the heck? I did not see that in there real quick. That really confused me. I intended that what if to be a villain what if. But in fact, I actually turned it around to be a bit to be somewhat of a, well, hero what if in my head. But I did eventually quit. I somewhat thought it out in my head for the last week and a half, probably, since I still was trying to figure out my new system, because this was before the cup. But that was originally supposed to be a villain what if, and I was thinking about it more and more, and I actually thought, hey, that's too mainstream of a villain what if, so let's do something different. So if you guys would like to see villain 10 quirks, tell me, but if not, give me a suggestion for a villain quirk. And if your suggestion is good, I will do it. And before someone comments it, Shigaраki's quirk will be a different one that was in the cup. Thank you. And they are probably deleting their message right now. If not, deleting their post. Sorry to make that awkward for you. Now, yeah, that is already in the cup, and I actually do have a good idea for that one, but that's a bit more tricky. Now, villain what if? What kind of suggestions do you guys want? Leave them in the comments below, and I am willing to read all of them. I really am. I really want to see what you guys have planned for this. But if you guys don't think of a good quirk for a villain quirk, if you guys want to see 10 quirks, please tell me. Alright guys, have a good day, and I hope you enjoyed the video.